Here we have a little walk around review of a 1975 Ford F100s, F150s. Just gonna do this little short video here talking about your vehicle and what size engines they had. The F150 had a little bit heavier duty front end and rear end. Not too much difference in the F100. The one I have looks like this truck. It's a 75 F100, full-time four-wheel drive with a 390 in it. Automatic. Pretty tough truck. Not too bad on fuel miles with the 390. It's not too good because it's in four-wheel drive, but it's not too bad. It gets above 10 miles to the gallon, which is good considering it's in four-wheel drive. It has no air conditioning, but some of these come with air conditioning. Of course, they have power brakes, power steering. Pretty tough truck. They go real good in four-wheel drive. I'll be showing the different sizes of motors that this truck came out with. This year's truck come out with, and that's a 1975 Ford. This one sits up pretty high. It has all the trim on it. It's probably a custom cab or a custom. Looks pretty nice. All the chrome's pretty shiny on it. Again, it's four-wheel drive, and they have that front little stabilizer shock on the front end to keep the tires from wobbling when you're really giving it the gas off-roading. Again, these have different size motors. We'll get into the motors here in a minute. First engine here was a 5.0 liter 302. As you can see, it's 130 horsepower, but back in 75 they checked the horsepower at the back of the motor, running through all the drivetrain. Prior to this, they just checked just the engine when they dynoed it. So you can see the horsepower numbers is very low. Then it's got the 5.9 360, which is only 145 horsepower. The 6.4 390, which is 160. It's a whole lot more powerful than the 360. The 360 is just a regular truck motor, but the 390 was in a lot of cars too. Then you got the gas hog, the 7.5 460 V8. Whole lot of torque, mega torque. Not too many horsepower for that year. A lot of folks used to switch out that 460 heads with older 429 heads to give it more power. But I think the fuel gauge moved as fast as the speed gauge when you had a 460 in these. Here's some of the specs on the 390 and the different compression ratios you could get and the different horsepowers it shows. Here you have the specs for the 360 truck motor. The horsepower is pretty low. A lot of torque, 375 foot-pounds. Horsepower is not too high. The only difference between a 360 and a 390, they look identical, is the 360 has a shorter stroke than the 390 does, but the 390 is a whole lot more powerful. The 360s and the 390s are from the FE engine family. Then you got the 302 Ford here. A lot of folks don't know that it is a 302 Windsor motor, same as the 351 Windsor. Not the same cubic inches, but it is a 302 Windsor motor. A little spunky motor if you got some good gears behind it. If you got lower gears, it's pretty gutless, but gives you a little bit better fuel economy. But the 302 and the 360, 390 relatively have almost the same size piston, so they're not too good on fuel. Then you got the big 460 here. You can see how much torque this engine has, just quite a bit. Horsepower is a little bit more than the rest of them, but it's mainly a torque engine and really gets bad fuel economy unless you have real like 275 gears or something and you're not hauling a load. Otherwise, you got a set of 411 gears behind a 460. Carry a lot of money with you to keep the fuel in it, but it's got a lot of power and fun to drive. Then you had the last engine option for the 75 Ford F100, F150, and this was the famous 300 cubic inch Ford 6-cylinder motor. These motors were known to run 300,000 to 400,000 miles. They have a lot of torque, very good torque. They got a 4-inch stroke in them. Not too big of a piston, but they do have a 4-inch stroke. So they had plenty of torque to pull these four-wheel drives. Real good fuel economy. Some of the trucks get 22 to 24 miles to a gallon, but not much for if you're towing a trailer or something. They're very slow. Then on this next clip here, you got a, not my picture of a truck, but of a customized 75 Ford slammed to the ground. Pretty nice truck. Well folks, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, click the subscribe, ring the bell for future videos, and hit the thumbs up, and thanks for watching.